Let's bring Mr. Porsalin in. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Mr. Porsalin.
There we go. Hello. How you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
Very refreshed. Thanks for waiting around. I really needed that.
You take a sleep and not a nap.
Yeah, well, naps just turn into sleep. Like I always expect to just nap for a bit, and then I'm ending up waking up like 8 hours later. So
Hey, man,
it's
it
never a
works.
case that I'm not a very good napper. I'm always I don't know. But I had just a terrible nightmare as well, which makes it even worse. Which I don't even want to talk about because it was very graphic and horrible.
No, no, you brought it up. We got to hear about it now.
Well, it's a really dumb. Like I was in a tunnel. I don't know. Like hearing other people's dreams is the worst fucking thing in the world. But like I was in some like tunnel, and there was like these ropes coming out of the walls, and it was like a bunch of people in there, and then the ropes would like pull and
Hmm.
then wrap around people, and then like disembowel them. And I was like, it was fucking horrible, really gruesome. And then I turned around, I looked back, and like some of my family members were there, and I was trying to run to stop it. And you know when you like dream and you're running really slow, and I could. It was horrible. Like I'm gonna think about that all day now. It was like the worst fucking shit.
It's a great way to start your day off, man.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it.
Hey, but
But
it's on the back of something good, right? By the way, it is Katie Scarlett's birthday either today or yesterday.
oh, happy birthday, Katie.
Th-
I
sh-
know Katie Scarlett.
yeah, she's the a good old regular from the ROTC days.
Yeah, I've seen her pop around on bits here and there.
Yeah, so I mean, at least you had a nightmare after you've had a really good documentary pop up.
Yeah, this one's crazy. I always get like a positive response, but there's always a big faction of people that are obviously for their reasons very unhappy with it. But no, this one's kind of going into unprecedented territory. Everyone seems to like it so far, apart from the OP90 subreddit, which is kind of understandable. But yeah, it's doing really well. I'm very happy with it, and numbers are kind of they look like they're doing okay. I think it's gonna do all right.
Well, I mean, it's at 20,000 views on what we can see
Yeah,
on
yeah,
our side.
yeah, that's that. I mean, I've been kind of monitoring this, and it's kind of going at the pace of like the NDE one or the Jim Norton one. So I think it could potentially, if it keeps this momentum up, it could absolutely do some okay numbers.
Okay numbers as you traditionally pull, over 20,000 and stuff. It's just okay numbers.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was hoping like it's nothing not about numbers. Obviously, I just like I want as many people to see it as they can because I think that it tells a good story that no one really seems to really be interested in.
Yeah, I really dug it. I watched it with Royce
Oh
yesterday,
yeah.
about an hour and 10 of it, about an hour and 15, and then
Mm,
caught the rest of it today. Uh,
mm.
and it's great, man. And it's completely something different. And I wasn't expecting, that much of a dive into
Oh yeah, yeah.
Rogan, and it was a lot of shit I didn't know personally.
Well, it's a difficult one because like it's where do you start? And ones I've done before, I've always kind of like gone for. I've always been like, let's just go from the beginning and make it as comprehensive as I can, and make it kind of like the fundamental one and done story of it. So then you're making it, and the trouble is the first 20 minutes are always just like their young years, and it's like it's kind of positive about them. Like, the same thing happened with Norton and Owen as well. And so I think a lot of people would like tuning off, thinking, "Oh, where does it bash him? Where does it attack him? I'm only interested in that shit." But yeah, I wanted it to be like as comprehensive as I can. So it's the full span of like when he came into relevance until now. So yeah, I like the idea of having rather than series of stuff. I'd like the idea of just having like one and done kind of thing because that's how I would like to watch something like this.
Yeah, so it doesn't drag out or drag on, and it gets everything out there. And for
Yeah.
honestly, for an hour and a half, like I wasn't even looking at the time. I didn't get
Oh,
disinterested.
cool, man.
And I know me and Royce were sitting there laughing at the the little memes that come from the community and
Yeah.
stuff. And so it was good stuff where it just
Thank you, man.
dragged the
That's really cool.
interest. I'm not
I
trying to
appreciate
kiss
that.
up to you because I don't give a fuck about you, porcelain.
That's nice. It's
No,
very, very refreshing. I
no, but
appreciate that.
you put out good stuff, man. And so for I many of you guys don't know me from when I used to just do interviews and talk to people, and then my Twitter got roasted, and so no, a lot of people came over after that and saw my trolling streams and stuff. But what and I'm going to ask you some of the questions I used to ask to dive into you.
Mm.
Some people
Oh, okay,
might
cool.
not know. Um, what brought you into YouTube and why docu-series?
Um, so I've kind of like not really YouTubed that much. I used to make a couple of like memes and stuff. I used to make a couple of like meme stuff for the Opie and Anthony subreddit. Like I do a bit of like animation, so I used to make like Anthony Cumia cartoons and things like that.
Okay,
And then
nice.
I did this really stupid. I got really into Joe Matteries, and I did as everyone here has probably heard on Nightwave and Revenge of the Sis. I did that Joe Matteries prank call thing, where it was I was we were pranking Josh Robert Thompson, who's the actor from well, I don't know if he's an actor. He's the skeleton from the Craig Ferguson show.
Okay, yeah,
He
yeah,
does the
yeah.
voice for that. Yeah, so he was live on Periscope, and me and a couple of mischief makers ran into that, and he was doing a phone-in show. So I spent like 5 hours just calling him up as Joe, just calling him, going, "Hey, it's me, Joe Maderies. Can I plug a gig?" All this kind of shit, and
you're,
and
you're,
he lost his mind, and then like that people seem to really like that, so then I ended up doing this really stupid dumb like joke podcast series called 100% Italian, where I would just like chop up audio from like Jim Norton and Anthony Cumia and all this stuff, and just have like Joe Matarese interview them. It was really dumb, but then like it kind of kicked off a little. It got a couple of thousand views each vid, and since then I was just like I just wanted to do something. And then after that kind of wrapped itself up, I didn't know what to do. And then I saw what Beige was doing. Beige Frequency is a good buddy of mine, and he was making this series on Anthony Cumia at the time, Demented World, and I encourage everybody to check it out. It's very, very good. And yeah, I saw what he was doing, and I spoke to him and said, yeah, I'm interested in doing something like this for Joe Matarese, because I was obsessed with with this ridiculously average comedian from New Jersey. So I was just was like, yeah, I really want to do this for Joe Matarese. So yeah, I popped that up. It was I didn't need like a week. I popped it up, and yeah, people seemed to really dig it. So yeah, from there I just was like, I'll just go with the trend, and
and
yeah, yeah,
it,
just happened. That
how,
just happened from that. Really.
and so from that led to the docu series and that style of stuff. How long you been at the YouTube stuff? Like truly at it? Like
Uh,
less than a year, right?
yeah, I mean, I haven't really. I still don't take it seriously, because, and I still know the limitations of what it is. They are stupid, retarded videos on like mostly obscure people, with a couple of exceptions. So I understand. Like, I'm not going to call myself a YouTuber or a fucking influencer or any of that shit, but I'd say I've taken it more seriously the minute I started these documentary things, and
Mm-hmm.
that was probably about 6 months ago.
Yeah, but I mean, I know you don't want to call yourself it, but with the results
I
and
know.
the everything that you're getting from all your stuff, like, I mean, you look at the Norton documentary or even the Matarese, a couple of
Yeah.
50,000 views,
Well,
100,000
the
views,
Norton
200.
ones, yeah, Norton's at 220 something, I think. The MDE one as well, which was just a labor of love, and that's a whole different story, because it's not like a hit piece at all. It's like a work of affection. I think that's sitting around 200K or something as well. So yeah, the numbers have been way out of my expectation. I did not expect any of this. It's kind of cool. It's kind of fun.
So then at what point do you start calling yourself a YouTuber? I mean, you've already broke
Mm.
15,000 subscribers, and there's people like I don't call myself a YouTuber.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I do it regularly enough. I don't think I come up with one of these things every like once a month. It's like, 'cause it does take a while to make them. So I don't think I do it regularly enough to really consider myself like that. And I've got a regular, regular Joe job and all that kind of shit. So this is just, it's a weird, really weird hobby that none of my family would ever understand.
Yeah, but I mean, if people actually dove into it, but I mean, honestly, dude, I look at it from this perspective. You're putting out a quality product, and
Mm.
it doesn't matter if it takes you a month to get through or you're pumping them out every week.
Right.
There's people out there that, you know, have 200, 300, 400,000 subscribers who would call themselves YouTubers and they're doing a video every month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I understand. Yeah.
And I can see like your growth in the last 10 months. You're going to break even if you put out one a month, man. I guarantee you within the next 2 months, you're going to be closer to 100,000 than freaking you think. Just for the quality level. Like you're up there with, and I'm going to give you a massive amount of credit here with, and I love him, is Mouthy Buddha, who puts together some of the best.
Buddha. Yeah. That's crazy talk though. I'm nowhere near, like, I appreciate the sentiment, but like that's mental.
Stop being humble, you fuck. No, you're too fucking humble, man. Like you're putting out.
I don't know.
Come on.
I just get like, I don't know if it's like paranoia or whatever the fuck it is, but I just always have this impending doom ahead of me. I'm like, yeah, this is all gonna come crashing down at some point. So let's just not get carried away.
Well, I'll say this, man. Okay, so we won't build you up, but I like Mouthy Buddha's product, and he's a great editor, and he puts together a good product.
He's fantastic.
And you put together a good product with great editing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
There you go. You fucking
That's very nice of you. I'm going to take a compliment. I might be a little humble, but I love compliments, so like I'll take that all day.
Who doesn't? But so with this series, like why I understand why, but for anyone who's new to you or new to what you do, why Joe Rogan? Why'd you want to focus on Joe Rogan?
It's difficult. It's really like the hardest part about all this is figuring out who to do, and this one has been really hard because it's very different to somebody like Jim Norton or Owen Benjamin, where all their infractions and all their misdemeanors, they're like really obvious. You know, like Owen Benjamin was so easy to write for because he was doing all of the work for me. Like he was just making mistake after mistake after. He was doxing people. He was beating his dog and shit. It was just really, really obvious, easy things to write for. And I loved making the Owen Benjamin one, and that to this day that's my favorite. But the Rogan one I knew it was going to be really difficult, and I also knew it was going to be a different animal because he's more subtle and subversive. Like it's not as obvious. So, and obviously he's massive, and with the Dorsey stuff. Yeah, I think it was the Dorsey stuff that dragged me in, and I wasn't really planning on doing it. I think actually Beige was planning on a series for Joe Rogan. I ended up like, I don't mean to step on his toes or anything with it, but I just really wanted to do him after the Dorsey stuff. I spotted that. Well, I'm not saying I spotted. Everybody fucking spotted. Like, his weirdness around Dorsey and stuff. And it's just that thing. It's like you sense, you know, it's like sharks in the water. You sense like you can smell blood a little bit, and you want to go in. And so the minute like he had Alex Jones on again and the Dorsey stuff, you know, you look into and it triggers your brain, and you think, oh, actually, this reminds me of the time that Joe did this stupid thing, like the Crowder interview that he did where he couldn't control himself, or the Dan Savage interview he had, and all these other things. It just like it triggered a number of other things that Joe Rogan had done and kind of got away with as well. Like obviously he was chastised at the time for things like the Crowder stuff, but they all add up, and then it got to the point where I was like, "There's a documentary here. There's a story to be told here." And yeah, I'm not like autistic, but I am very organizational. So I like the idea of there being one entity of like information that's chronological, at least mostly chronological, and that's like detailed, and that anybody can just access immediately and then learn everything about the guy. So yeah, that's really what my brain was thinking at the time.
Yeah, and I think it did well because there were things that you brought up and brought in that I didn't know about Rogan. Like, I don't know if it's because I wasn't much involved in his shit. Like, I'd occasionally watch his, you know, podcast and you know, the Joe Rogan Experience, but I didn't know about the supplement company and his ties to the freaking, you know, pocket pussy guy and other stuff.
Oh yeah, you know? Yeah. That's the one thing I think people are really seem to be surprised by, and it's probably the one thing I've had a little pushback from from people in the comments. It's been mostly respectful, but a lot of people have really been like, you're not wrong. You're wrong about on it. On it's a good supplement. It works, and I'm reading these things thinking, okay, yeah, there's a bit of like unbearable energy from these people. It's a bit like over the top defense of this of this pill fucking thing. I'm not. Well, I kind of am saying it's a scam, but it's the supplement nutritional supplement industry. The whole point of its existence is the fact it circumvents FDA rules and stuff, where you don't have to, as long as you don't say that it's specifically curing an ailment. It's like
Happy
anything
birthday
goes.
to
Like
Katie
that's the whole
Scarlett.
point of these
Don't
nutritional
forget to
supplements is
DM
that
any pics that you want to
it combines
Katie.
these natural remedies.
Lol,
which
I
you can
hope
find
you
in
had a
basically
good
anything,
time in
puts
Miami
it in
and
a
are
pill,
glad to
and
be
then
back
puts a fucking
home.
like 1,000% markup on it. Like Alpha Brain is ridiculously expensive for what it is, and it really, there's nothing magical in it. It's shit that anybody can get in any other fucking vitamins. It's a fucking, I'm not going to say it's a con, because like at the end of the day it's capitalism and they can make whatever they want, and if idiots buy it then whatever. But there's always these nutritional supplement industries, whether it's Infowars shit or whether it's Alpha Brain, it's like there's always a dark story behind it. And the minute that I read about Dr. Janet Zand, who, for anyone who hasn't seen the documentary, she's the principal formulator behind Alpha Brain. She's the doctor they had to get the doctorly credentials on the product.
Yeah.
She's a doctor in the same way that fucking Dr. Pepper's a doctor. She's got like a college doctorate in fucking acupuncture and Chinese medicine. It's like, it's all this homeopathic nonsense, and people can take Alpha Brain and make believe that it's helping them, but I just don't buy it. I'm very suspicious of any of these nutritional supplement things.
Well, and a super chat came in, and since I don't have sound running into your ears, thank God you didn't have to hear that. It played over you a little bit, but I apologize about that to the audience. I adjusted the volume level. It's the same mentality of, if you're gonna call out Alex Jones on his shit, you gotta call Joe Rogan out on his supplement shit too.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and like, I'm not shilling for Jones. I think it's retarded.
No, I know you're not, but those people in your comments who are just like, well, it works. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people with Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, thinks it works too.
Yeah, I mean, I understand like the idea that they need to make money and this self-sustainability thing, but with Joe, like he admitted on his podcast that he's got way too many sponsors than he needs, and so at that point you have to start being selective of who you associate with. But at the same time, it's Joe Rogan. Of course, he's going to have Alpha Brain as a sponsor. Like that, as far as like the things that annoy me about him, or the things that I think people should be interested in, I think the fact that he's involved in some nutritional scam, supplement scam, I kind of expect that of Joe Rogan. Really, it's like, yeah, he's a fucking bone-brained idiot, so of course he's selling fucking ridiculous pills.
Yeah, and the fact that like just some of the stuff he's been involved with and everything seems to be right up his alley,
Yeah. And like the Rogan documentary in general is a little different to anything else I've done, because it's not entirely, I've definitely pulled back compared to like Owen or Jim or any, where I'm actually trying to sell the idea that these are objectively bad people. I don't feel like that about Rogan. I still think that he's obviously got an incredibly big product, and like as much as you've seen from the recent Alex Jones appearance, it can still be ridiculously entertaining at times or interesting. So I'm not saying that he isn't an important part of the entertainment spectrum, but yeah, it's just he's going through. It's clearly obvious that he's going through something right now. He's going through a phase right now that he's having trouble with. So that's all I was tentatively trying to do is just tell that story, really, rather than go out there and attack him and do like an expose. It's not an expose at all. It's just a documentary.
Yeah, and I think it was and it was well done, and it brought up things, like I said, I didn't know, and others I'm sure didn't know either, and he is going through something. He seems to be, I honestly don't know what it is, because he's kind of all over the place, you know, and he's wishy-washy, and he flips back and forth, and you know, it's just weird. It's quite honestly weird what he's been up to and what he's doing, you know.
Well, the trend seems to be that it's course correct, and course corrections. Of course, if you fundamentally realize that you're wrong about something and that you're going in the wrong direction, or that you were maybe, you know, flirting with some negative energy and shit, like let's say, for instance, with Rogan and Dorsey, where he realizes that he's not pressing him hard enough, or that he's not asking the right questions, or that he might have some kind of responsibility to, you know, to call this man out or anything. So yeah, course corrections are a good thing. But my point with that was that, like, if you're course correcting solely as a response to people's criticism or feedback, and you have no intrinsic idea of why you were doing shit wrong, you're just doing it to appease people, essentially. I think that's the problem with Rogan. I think that fundamentally, like himself, I don't think he really knows when he's fucking up and when he's not. I think he's just literally, and that's not a bad thing as well, I guess. If you're open to criticism and willing to change, that's fine. But again, it's not this intrinsic, fundamental moral guide that he's got. It's more like he's more like a fucking beacon where he's just receiving signals from people.
Yeah.
And so people will look at the Alex Jones, the second Alex Jones appearance and the second Dorsey appearances, and for most people, and this is fine as well, for 90% of people, they'll look at that and think, great, Rogan's back. Rogan fixed everything. It's everything's, the world makes sense again now. Like, everything's fine. But as I explained in the documentary, you know, if you think that those were course corrections or real course corrections, and not actually a huge win for Rogan on all accounts, then you're out of your mind. Like the second Dorsey interview, I said it in the documentary that, like, this wasn't a rematch. This wasn't a rehash of Joe Rogan versus Jack Dorsey. This was, as I said, it was an argument between a Stan from South Park cosplayer and a legal street shitter. It's like they both just had lightning rods there to attract all of the attention, and Joe Rogan and Jack Dorsey might as well have gone home. Like they literally didn't do anything. And then the second Alex Jones appearance, I don't know who they're kidding with that one. Like, so I'm supposed to believe that like Alex Jones is whipping me up into a frenzy about Joe Rogan, that he's presenting Joe Rogan as the pinnacle of globalist, of globalist entertainment. He's pinning Joe up as the puppet of the CIA and you know, the just the representative of this globalist elite kind of stuff, where the perpetual, and it really worked. A lot of his followers really were whipped into this frenzy, and they saw Joe Rogan as being bought, as being a paid shill now, and it was like fundamentally obvious, and people were really all in on this war against him, this InfoWars war against Joe Rogan. And then suddenly you blink, and then Alex Jones is like doing his fucking carnival routine on Rogan, like putting Eddie Bravo in a headlock, begging him to choke him out and shit. It's like, oh, okay, so none of this was real. This is all a WWE style work. This is all, you know, it's all fucking scripted.
Well, and after it came out that they had talked 2 weeks before this, and they were talking and all this stuff, it put a sour taste in the mouth, because you're like, hold on, just a week ago he was going in on his stepdaughter or his half daughter or whatever. It's just like, huh?
It just felt like this was their WrestleMania. It felt like they just did a bunch of like fucking SmackDowns and Raws and stuff like that, and then it was all building towards this. And the fact that it just came out of the blue was like, oh, okay, yeah, Joe and Alex wanted this big, huge moment, and it works. You know, people were blindsided by it, and people were just like enamored with both of them after this podcast. They were like, and I understand that, because most people are good people. Most people want like the happy resolution.
Yeah,
I'm not like that. I just want shitty things to happen to everybody, and so for me, it was a very unsatisfactory resolution.
Well, and you want the real, you know, like myself.
100%.
I don't want the, oh, we're angry at each other, and then all of a sudden we're not angry at each other. Like, if you're it doesn't flip that fast for how much animosity those two built up and the time it built up. Like it just it
You're
doesn't make
right.
much sense at all. And for it to shift so fast,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
showed how bad of a work it was. And
yeah,
the Twitter shit, like I'm glad he brought in Tim Pool because I think he would have been a pussy about it. And he
yeah.
wouldn't
He
have
would have.
stood
Yeah,
up for himself. And then, freaking whatever her face is, Mrs. Lawyer Pants, who, oh, we
the
don't
giant
have,
gadget.
yeah, Vagina Gadge wouldn't have been able to. She
Vagina
would have been,
gash.
yeah, Vagina Gash. She would have ran all over freaking Rogan, and Jack
Yeah,
Dorsey would have sat there with his nose ring, twirling it like a fucking mastermind.
yeah. You could definitely, and I could definitely give him an allowance. Like at the end of the day, I don't think Rogan would have done as good a job as Tim Pool, obviously. But
Well, no,
I
because
don't know. I
he
just
has bias. Why? Okay,
yeah. But
if
even without bias, I just don't think he's capable of coming up with the kind of like arguments that Tim Pool. But at the same time, like the way he deals with people that disagree with him on weed, like
oh
where's that energy? Where's that boisterousness? Where's that willingness to like look shit up and to like there's nothing stopping Rogan in the interim between the first and second Dorsey episodes to literally go through himself, go through every occurrence of conservative censorship on Twitter and really speak to people and listen to the people that were affected by that and come with the kind of energy he has for weed. It's like why can't you do that? Oh, I get because this isn't your realm. This is you don't give a shit about this really, Joe Rogan. You're not really a proponent of you're not the proponent of free speech that you sometimes say that you are. It's not really your fucking world.
no, I think he wants to be, but
Yeah,
he keeps himself from being when it's those situations
yeah. He
that
likes to have his cake and eat it too, and this was like the biggest example of that of like Joe being able to maintain his professional and personal relationship with the likes of Jack Dorsey, like because at the end of the day, it wasn't Rogan saying any of these mean shit; it's somebody else. So Cash App's not going to be affected. Like he's not going to ruffle any feathers when it comes to. I mean, I'm not going to go deep into like the globalists or
yeah.
that Rogan is. I don't necessarily think Rogan is a puppet of some kind of like big state thing, but certainly he seems reluctant to ruffle feathers, is what I'll say about that.
Yeah, I think he is too, and I think the simple fact is that um, Joe's too worried about the money side of things because
Yeah,
with what is it, Cash App or Stripe or who is he involved with?
Cash App is
Yeah,
it's a Bitcoin application thing where you get to anyway, but it's owned by Jack Dorsey's company Square, and
yeah.
yeah,
One Cash App, you can send money around to friends, and it's a big
yeah,
producer or I mean a big promoter of the Joe Rogan and pays him to fucking be sponsored
so yeah,
by
it's a big
him. So
promoter. I mean, Rogan does say, and I will give him this, that I mean, he does have a lot of sponsorship people. He does have a lot of companies that want to sponsor with him. So I do agree with him that he doesn't necessarily need Cash App, but I think having a business relationship with Jack Dorsey off Twitter is not a bad thing. And I think that if you compare that to the other sponsors he's got, it's way more lucrative to be in business with a billionaire like Dorsey. And I think that if Joe had to pick, I'm sure I'm sure Cash App will make the top three list of desired sponsorships for Rogan.
yeah, I'm sure that's the case. And the simple fact that, I mean, how much money is Cash App making really? A lot. And I'm sure
Yeah,
they're pumping a lot of money into that show.
yeah, 100%. I'm sure it's a crazy amount of money that he's getting from Cash App alone, if not from the rest of them. And yeah, I mean, Joe's got his he's got his tank to pay for and shit, and he's got a very expensive lifestyle, and I'm sure he enjoys it, and all the success to him, or all the great for him. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like if you're gonna enjoy all the successes of this, you've got to at least put shit on the line every now and again. And I think that not putting anything on the line when you have Jack Dorsey sitting opposite you is a little cowardly, in my opinion.
Yeah, and
I understand. I
definitely
get it. I
not a good
understand it.
look.
And
Not a good look when you're supposed to be Mr. I'm a free speech warrior.
yeah, Joe Rogan questions everything. Yeah, except for things that
Except
might
for
affect
Jack
his.
Dorsey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So
and that plays into like his conspiracy thing as well. He used to be the conspiracy guy. He used to be like the guy, and like he was never like full Eddie Bravo, Alex Jones in the sense of like he didn't believe in flat Earth conspiracies or like he wasn't out there shouting about Sandy Hook or anything. But he was always at least open to the discussion. He was always at least like sitting there. He was very very curious, and he was very kind of like he'd want to know what the conspiracy is before he took it in. It seems like now, especially when he started flirting with the intellectual dark web, that I just get the idea with the IDW that they made him believe that he was this intellectual titan, that he was part of this intellectual supergroup. And I think that made Joe feel a little uncomfortable with all of his conspiracy. It's like when you're at school or something, and you've got like a loser friend or something, and then suddenly you're one of the cool kids, and then you look at the loser friend, you're like, oh god, I don't really want anything to do with that guy anymore. So it's a bit like that. Like he was suddenly like buddy up with like Ben Shapiro and fucking Jordan Peterson and all that. So then he probably looked at like Eddie Bravo and thought, well, you're kind of a retard. I'm too smart for you guys now.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Even, I mean, he's the dunt of the intellectual dark web. I mean,
I think it's between him and Dave Rubin. I think he's scrapped to the death for who's the fucking retard of the group.
Yeah, it's pretty much a battle there for those two. But I think, I think if he would step back, be willing to take some risk again, and put himself out there a little more, and maybe challenge the people he brings on, and give up a good I don't know, a good interview, like when he challenged Crowder on the marijuana thing. If you're that passionate about something, why can't you find passion for other things, even if it's not your passion, but your audience is passionate about it?
Yes, it's the disconnect between his wild passion for one subject matter and then just his total obliviousness to the rest of it. And I get it. At the end of the day, like, you're not going to get everything you want from somebody. If you're a follower of somebody, if you're like if you need Owen Benjamin in your life in order for you to like feel like you're achieving something, then they're not gonna mirror every single thing that you want them to, and they're gonna have their biases. They're gonna have their things they're interested in. So I'm not gonna hold that against Joe, of course not. But
no,
like it or not, I said this in the document. Like it or not, he's got a very very important and powerful platform, and it's expected of him. Like it or not, it is expected of him to have these kinds of discussions, and especially the way that he's been leaning into them as well. When you talk about when he brings on like Gavin and he brings on Milo and then he brings on the IDW guys and stuff, and he's talking constantly about how important it is to have the discussion and all this kind of stuff. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't flirt with all those kinds of ideas, and then when the actual like push comes to shove and you're faced with like the same thing that you've been talking about and then you do nothing about it, it smacks of disingenuousness. So again, if he just did a podcast about how great weed is, and he did like a Doug Benson style thing, or like, that's fine. People have that, and people will watch that. But again, it's the fact that he's been leaning into this free thinking. We're having an important discussion that we need to have the debate. And all this kind of, he's been doing that, and then suddenly he's
entirely
given the
possible
opportunity to have the debate, and he doesn't do it.
Yeah, hold on one second. I think there's music coming through.
Oh yeah,
it's entirely possible. Reddy's just playing something that says it's entirely possible.
I really wish I should put that clip in the documentary somewhere. The one where it's like 1,000 Joe Rogans, and it's just like, it's entirely possible.
It's entirely possible.
That's great.
Yeah, and you know what, man? I don't know. I don't see him changing, because there won't be anything. I don't think there'll be anything that will force him to change, because
right.
I mean, no matter, look at the backlash he got out of this shit, and look at everything else, and what has he done? He didn't challenge Jack Dorsey. He actually, if you watch that interview where Poole and the street shitter were involved,
the street.
Wait, you're the one who called her that, so I'm gonna.
Oh no, just like that. That's the norm now.
The fact is, Joe pretty much shifted to their side on a lot of things, and when Tim would challenge things and point out the things that made sense, he would challenge Tim on them.
Right.
It's like, yeah, well, that's not what they're doing. They're looking at the
He
content.
did
I'm
do
Joe
that. Yeah, you're
Rogan.
right.
I'm Joe Rogan. It's like, dude.
Yeah, no, he did do that on a
Mm-hmm.
number of. I did spot that. Like he would side with Vijaya on a couple of things where like he'd be like, no, actually they're not doing that. It's like that he might be right about that, but you know he's literally only pushing in one direction throughout that thing. He's kind of like, I get it. He has to moderate to a degree, and the whole thing about him presenting these discussions with people is that he can't just be like all in one direction because he's dealing with so many different people of different ilks that it's that he's got to maintain some kind of neutrality, and he's got to maintain some kind of like you know, in order for people to feel comfortable on there, yada yada yada. But I don't know. I just and again, this stems from the thing where I don't necessarily think Joe Rogan is the bad evil thing that you know that I've covered in the past. It's just an interesting case, and I think that he's not beyond reproach as well. And I think that it's very much a case of I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but you get what I'm saying.
Oh, no. I totally
some
get
words.
it. And it's the fact that he's trying to pull back from the whole, oh, he's alt-right. He's trying to pull back from people calling him, essentially calling him a Nazi and all this other shit. So he's trying to find the center again for him to keep people from being up his ass. And so he's not going to challenge the things where he needs to challenge because he's worried that, oh, they might write another article about me being alt-right. Jamie, pull that up.
He's incredibly conscious about people's opinion on him, and he does that exact thing where he'll keep meandering around the center. He'll like, if you think of it like a spectrum, he'll be around the center, and then he'll have a couple of people on. He'll go a bit to the right, and then the minute it gets a little too hot and he gets his feet burnt by it, like you know, articles coming out about him like calling him all right, he'll fucking go the opposite direction. And then we've seen that where suddenly people are going like, oh, he's just repeating establishment talking points at this rate, and oh, he's turning into a leftist and all this kind of stuff. And it's this ever meandering pendulum swing from one to the other that he's doing. I think that people that are like that, people that are just literally so badly attuned to like what people think of them, rather than having intrinsic moral values, and like it feels to me like he's never sat down and thought, except with weed, he knows what he feels about weed, but he's never sat down and thought, what do I actually really fundamentally believe and think? Oh yeah, and chimpanzees, yeah. But he's never sat down and thought, what do I intrinsically believe about these things? What do I really feel about them? And he's never. It's like, and people like that are always very dangerous to me because I think they can be bought very easily if they don't really have any kind of fundamental moral position on stuff, and they don't really have. I'm not saying he doesn't have a value. It clearly does have a value, but he doesn't have a very strong ideological one. Like he's not there entrenched in what he believes is the right way to live your life and the right way to behave in society, and the right way to address things like free speech and the other constitutional amendments. So
and CDAO brings up another thing he knows a lot about, which is DMT. Okay, he's really deep in, you know.
Yeah.
Did you just
because these are the important issues, AGLuck. These are the important issues we should all be dealing with today: is weed and DMT and UFC fighting and fucking karate and shit. Like those are the things that are really that people are talking about on the streets today.
Come on, man! Kung fu fighting is important.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, I love that he's passionate about shit. Of course, it's great. Like we all are. But he's got it's the fact he's got the big platform, and like it or not, Joe, people look to you for what you think about shit, and they look to you as an ideological like hero of sorts. I mean, not me, but stupid. Let's say stupid people do. Grugs do.
Don't lie. You. This is why you did the documentary, because
I have a Joe Rogan poster. Yeah,
you stare into his eyes every night before sleep to keep the demons away, and that's why you had a horrible nightmare today.
I did. Yeah, I didn't tell you that it was actually Joe Rogan, the lever that got the fucking. It was all a thing.
He was like, all controlling the ropes.
Yeah. Oh god, that was. I can't believe my brain would come up with that shit. That was horrible. It's like a night. It's like a horror film.
The nightmare. Well, it's not even a nightmare. I always have the falling dream. where it's like
Oh yeah.
I'll be running away from something or I'm falling off of something and then I wake up from it, you know, and it wakes me up in a
Mm.
shock. That's it. But all
Yeah.
I remember is, oh, I was running and I tripped and fell. And then, like, I actually, like, my body does the movement that happens when I hit the ground. You know, it's like, the
Mm.
fuck is going on with me? And I don't remember most of my dreams. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think the last dream I remember, it was like a car chase and gun shootout. And then, like, I ended up on a building and fell. That's about it. That's about what my dreams account to. No crazy getting pulled in by ropes and all this crazy
Just a really
shit.
retarded 10-year-old's idea of an action film, just
Hell
like
yeah,
guns
man.
and then a rooftop.
Video game. I still play video games, man. So it probably has
Oh, yeah,
something
me
to
too.
do. Has something to do with that, you know.
Is there a thing like as you get older, you just get really shit at video games? Like I've tried playing Age of Empires 2 with a buddy today, and I'm such a boomer with games. Like I'm there and I'm like, click. What's that guy doing? Click. It's just like I'm so fucking retarded with video games now.
Okay,
I used to
so
be like
how
a
old are
fucking
you?
autist. I'm 33 years old.
I'm 34. I'm gonna be 35 this year, and
Hmm.
I'm still okay at video games. Maybe it's because like I kept my hand-eye coordination up with sports
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff throughout
Yeah, maybe.
time.
Maybe I'm just out of practice or something.
Yeah, and I don't know what your activity was before, you know, like if you did sports or stuff, but like I've always had good hand-eye
Hmm.
coordination, so maybe that's why.
I mean, I play piano, so like, it's not. I don't think it's
There,
a dexterity thing.
hold on, you play piano. So why haven't you done, you know what you should do?
I know. I should
We
do
want
Owen Benjamin.
no, fuck that. That's gay. We want an original song in your next
Uh-huh.
documentary. A Porsalin
Yeah,
original.
because I do make music. Like I'm not very. I don't push it out there, but I do make music. I have been always feel it's really self-aggrandizing if I just make it all put like and at the same time I love the music that I put in there so much that I'm like, yeah, this is kind of groovy. I like. I don't think I would enjoy it if I had my shit in there with the rest of it. So I don't want to be that like again that self-aggrandizing.
Well, it doesn't even have to be all your own music. Just one song, man. That way we can
All
hear
right, I'll
your
tell you what.
style.
Next time I'll make something especially for the next one.
Okay, and I know you're gonna be talking to Braunheiser as well in a little bit. So
Mm.
you wanna tease where you're headed next? Like
Yeah,
what's
I'm
your
just
next
gonna jump
docu?
over to the next documentary. Or...
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be doing Sargon of Akkad.
Are you really?
Uh, yeah. So if anyone, I will also. I think Ralph has agreed to do some stuff for it as well. So that would be pretty cool.
Ralph Sutton?
Ethan, Ralph.
Oh, so you're gonna have Ethan Ralph do some stuff for it too.
Yeah, similar to like how I had like Sam Hyde help me out with MDE one and stuff, and so yeah, it'll be kind of like an interview of sorts, and then having some of his audio dropping every now and again to the whole Sargon thing. I want to try and get like one or two others as well if I can. Like I want to make this like the Sargon doc, and essentially, I mean, a lot of it is going to be taking Encyclopedia Dramatica stuff and Kiwi Farm shit and just like centralizing it into like one flowing video. But yeah, I think it's going to be really, really fun. I can't wait to do it because Sargon is so, and especially with what's happening now, where he's essentially going to be running for a member of European Parliament if the Brexit negotiations fall down again,
Is
which
he
is hilarious to me.
is he really?
Yeah, he's so dilute. Like he had a political run before with UKIP and all this kind of stuff, and it turned out that oh yeah, you Sargon, you've got too checkered a history. You've said the N word far too many times for a career in politics. Unfortunately, you're not cut out for this. They don't want ex Gamergate fucking spurgs in in the members in the fucking House of Commons. So yeah, but apparently he's not given up on that dream, and I guess his stupid fucking fanboys have convinced him that he'd be a good member of European Parliament. So an MEP, that's what Nigel Farage is essentially at the moment as well. He's a member of European Parliament. So
Mhm.
essentially, if the Brexit negotiations delay even further, then the British people will be forced to vote for new members of European Parliament, and that's what Sargon is hoping to get in for.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, and it'll be interesting doc for it to come out, especially if he's
Oh my
gonna
god.
start
How
running.
how good would it be if the doc comes out and it just ruins any chance he's ever had? He's like getting ready his campaign and everything, and he's doing a load of like street work and stuff, and then suddenly the doc comes out of him just acting like a complete fool for 10 years, and he has
Jesus.
to just put his campaign on hold. Like, that's my dream. That would be my dream scenario.
You know what would be funny is he would probably think that it's opposition trying to keep him from getting in office, and you're like,
Yeah,
no, no, no. Look
yeah, yeah,
back to 3/23,
yeah,
2019. AGLuck's channel. We talked about this. I've been working on this
yeah.
for a long time, dude.
Yeah, there's no one's interested in opposing Sargon's like ideological viewpoints. Like, at the end of the day, like, he says a lot of things that I do agree with. Like, that's obvious. That I think he says a lot of things that like Ralph would agree with. But it doesn't take away the ridiculous spurgery that he's been committing for the last like 5 to 10 years. It's not the same thing.
No,
He
not
he
at all.
can, and we're seeing this with a lot of these like alt light heroes that are being taken down one by one, much to my enjoyment. But it's not about what you're saying, and so any like when people attack me, for instance, for Owen, like for going after Owen, saying, "Oh, you're just a leftist," "Oh, it's because Owen's saying," it's like, no, okay, I can agree with some stuff that Owen says. Everybody knows that kid transgender people are like, it's kind of fucked up to have like 10-year-olds chopping their dick off. Like, that's not a very dangerous, edgy position to take.
Yeah, right.
Everybody agrees with you. Like, everybody knows that leftists are annoying and liberals are fucking stupid. Everyone knows that, Owen. Like, we're not going after you because of that. We're going after you because you're a fucking idiot who tries to dox people, who beats his fucking dog and shit. It's like, it's not the same thing. And so, yeah, I expect that to happen with this Sargon thing as well. That the criticism's going to be all about, oh, you're a this, oh, you're a liberal, oh, you just, it's like, come on, it's bigger than that.
Yeah, and I think that's a good shift and a good way to go about it.
Plus, I'm to the right of like nearly everybody of like nearly all of these people. I'm way to the right of that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say the N word, the Nazi word, but I'm definitely to the right of that. I mean,
you're to the right of Nazis.
no, 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 no. I'm not that, but
Jesus,
yeah, like,
that's pretty far right there.
no, but like when you think about like, and National Socialism gets like the bad attachment, but
Yeah.
to the, but like at the same time, like, I'm not necessarily against the idea of having of having social programs that prioritize nationals. I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Well, isn't that what social programs are supposed to be for? Is the people who live there?
No, I mean, no, I mean, not in Britain. Social programs in Britain are supposed to help migrants. That's
Well,
they're supposed to kick.
that's
They're
kind of where the
supposed
U.S.
to.
is going to. So shit.
Yeah, they're supposed to. They're designed. I think by nature they're designed to take away your bedrooms in the form of a bedroom tax, and then give your house to a family of migrants, and then put you in tiny housing in a block of flats or something.
Ah, I think that's
Yeah,
I definitely want to give up everything I own for anyone who does not belong or live here legally.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what they expect us to do, really.
Yeah,
But I
I'm
think,
sorry your country is such a shithole right now, man.
yeah, well, it's gonna get worse. Like, the
Oh
one
yeah,
thing about these, and I don't know. Obviously, you guys are probably not really aware too much about what's happening with Brexit, but the one big thing about this is what's happening right now is we're facing the binary decision of whether or not we just abandon Brexit altogether, which is looking ever more likely. Forget a second referendum; it's literally at the point where they're discussing whether to just not do Brexit, to just not fulfill the will of the democratic electorate,
well
or
yeah, it's
to.
pretty much almost dead, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hopeless. Yeah, we just had in London. There was like a march for like there was 1 million people there or something, and they were all marching to try and like stop Brexit essentially. And then there's a petition that's been signed by like 4 million people saying we need to stop Brexit. And all this shit is being peddled by the BBC, which is obviously the establishment media that we have to pay towards for fear of incarceration. It's the weirdest like 1984 style fucking nonsense I've ever seen. It's so. I mean, it's. I hate to say, oh, it's Black Mirror-ish, but it really fucking. It's like we're forced to pay for. We're forced to pay for propaganda. We're forced to pay to be propagandized to, because the BBC is literally the fucking devil. Like, it's like if CNN was smart, and if CNN were actually like, if they knew what they were doing and they weren't just like obvious retards who were blowing their load too soon. It's like if CNN were like were subversive, because it's just. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like black pilled like massively right now. And the trouble is, that's what they're banking. They're banking on like the entire country to just be like apathetic towards Brexit at this point. So people are just gonna be like, you know what, fuck it, just do whatever, just remain. I don't give a fuck anymore. It's been 3 years and nothing's happened, so fuck it.
Yeah,
But I
like the
really,
people
really
will
hope,
just be like, you know what, we're done with this. We're tired of having to
yeah.
wait for it. Oh, go
I
ahead,
just
do
really
whatever the
hope we
fuck
get
you
some
want.
yellow vesting, but unfortunately, we're not very revolutionary as well, so I don't think that's going to happen either. So I want like,
all the revolutionary people left when they came to America and revolted against
yeah,
you guys.
yeah.
You're pretty shit
They
out of
left
luck on that.
cooks. Yeah, they left cooks on our fucking island. That's what happened. But the good thing, and this is a silver lining for me, I think like what's either going to happen is we're going to leave without a deal, which for me is perfect. That's a great, but it's looking really, really unlikely because literally everybody in Parliament doesn't want it. It'd be great if we did, but like again, no one really wants it. Or we go against the decision of the democratic decision of the electorate and set an incredible precedent on democracy, and hopefully there are riots in the streets and violence everywhere. That would be a fantastic solution, because I hope that the British people have got some kind of gumption left in them, that they would do some yellow vesting craziness on the streets of London following this whole charade. That would be perfect.
You gotta get some of those French people who are actually revolting to come up and help inspire your populace up there, man.
Yeah, but we're faggots. It's not going to happen. Sorry, I said the F word. I apologize, but like it's not going to happen. Oh, some people get like antsy about that.
No, dude. I mean, honestly,
like,
you're talking, and my channel, dude. I know you've watched me a few times. Like, I mean,
yeah.
Whatever. I don't give two shits about what's said.
Well, I say faggot all the time in my documentaries, and nothing's happened. So I'm a bit weirded out by that.
Well, and I've
said worse things.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's not. You're not saying it in a malicious way. You know.
Yeah.
You're just.
I think you're okay if you don't literally like direct it at an actual
human.
Gay man.
Yeah, or someone who's going to get offended or triggered by your language. Oh my God, he said the F word.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I already plugged. You want to plug anything? And I know you got to get over. I feel bad because I held you up when you're.
No, dude, it's been fun. I've enjoyed this. It's been great. Yeah, I mean, like everybody here knows. So just it's fine. Like I think at this point, I think we all share the same audience at this point anyway. So it's
no shit.
Good,
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep going, but everyone's gonna go over and listen to Porsalin. So I'm gonna be sitting here with like 5 people.
Nah, they're not. The Braun, like this was more of an interview. The Braun thing's always just like a hangout. Like we've been buddies for like forever, basically, me and Braun. So we'll probably just go in there and just do a little hangout more than an actual this kind of style interview. But this has been fun, man. I really appreciate you having me on.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. You're always welcome in. You can jump
I'll
in.
come back, absolutely. Yeah, like if ever you want to shoot the shit and stuff, man, I'll definitely come back.
Yeah, and when we could fuck with Jovi and all these other fools when we're not being serious.
Dude, Jovi's my favorite thing. Like the ROTC guys are kind of sick of him, but I think I got into Jovi late and like Trumpster Bob and all that stuff late. And every morning I'll see like Legal Latino Heat just like stream snipe him. And I love like the biggest thing that I love is like it's this like fucking with the most irrelevant like for me I've got my Joe Matarese. I've got like this comedian guy that's struggling that isn't getting anywhere with his career despite being 50 years old at this point. So I love the idea of just a pointless war on somebody that doesn't want to be involved in it. And Legal Latino, like his role in life is just to make Jovi's life miserable. It's beautiful, and I love him for it. So anytime I see any Jovi stuff, I'm all in. It's funny as shit.
Well, and I've kind of gotten into it too because it's just like he's so easy. He's like the
He's
easiest
great.
lol
Yeah.
cow out there, and it's like
Oh my
I'm
god. Yeah.
still learning my my screw with people and my prank calls.
Mm.
I'm still
Yeah. Yeah.
gaining that knowledge, and it's great to have someone like Jovi to
Yeah.
practice on.
Jovi's. Yeah. Jovi's definitely. He's like you're punching.
Oh, I'm punching way down. It's like punching a
No, but then,
retarded baby, dude.
yeah, but that's the point. It's like it sharpens you. Like, that's the point with Joe Matarese for me as well. When I got into the Joe Matarese, it was I didn't even realize at the time, but it was sharpening me like in a way to like fuck with people a little.
Yeah.
Because Joe was always he'd always do the very predictable reactions to things, and he was always very kind of like he was such a boomer that like it was so easy to get to like he was very malleable. It was very easy to get the response you wanted. And Jovi's the exact same thing. He's like very easy to get the exact response you want.
When
Like
so are the people he brings on. Like I was able to get them to fight with each other and go after Jovi if he started having sex with a white woman. Like that was like one of the last things I did, and those guys were like, I'm okay with you being part of the movement. But once you started having sex with white women, that's where we have a problem. I'm like, damn, dude. I was like, that worked out better than I thought.
Oh, that's fucking great. Yeah, but Jovi's, I kind of like, I get enamored with them to a degree as well. Like, I don't hate Jovi at all. Like I know people on our OTC are like, yeah, fuck that guy, he's a piece of shit. I'm like, no, he's just a lol cow. You're supposed to. The thing about a lol cow, you have to have affection for them. You have to realize why they are funny and stuff. And to do that, I think you have to like them to a degree, or not like them, but like I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like with Matt Reese, like I would love to, like I would love to sit down and talk to him. Like, and if I did that, I'd be like, I'd prefer to talk to Joe Matt Reese than anybody else at this point. Like, fuck Joe Rogan. I don't really care about Joe Rogan, but like Matt Reese, I would sit down in a second and pick his brain about everything. And I'm sure like Legal Latino will do the same thing with Jovi. Like, it's this weird. You have to have like affection for your lol cow in order to really get to where you want to get to.
Yeah, and it's like if you don't show the cow love, the milk's gonna come out spoiled, and it's gonna get old fast.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. You've got to ooze it out slowly and take care of it and stuff. Like, yeah, it's a weird thing. It's a really weird thing, and I'm kind of getting weird describing it as well. But
wow,
yeah, it's fun though.
Yeah, so I'll let you but anyone who's over here joining for the first time and hanging out with Porsalin because you're a Porsalin fan, subscribe to my channel. Anyone who is new to Porsalin, I dropped his link. I'll drop it again. Check out the Rogan doc. I'll probably play through some of it after he jumps over to Braunheiser.
Yeah, man. Play as much as you want as well. Like,
you're not gonna,
people get really weird about it. Like, wow. I don't know whether to play it, because I want you to get the views. I don't really give a fuck. You like anybody out there, just play as much on your streams as you want. So it's cool. I don't really care.
So you're not going to Owen Benjamin us or Feld Entertainment us?
No. You're all set, dude. Play as much as you want.
So you're not going to double back on that when you become way too big for us, right?
The thing is, I'm not monetized, and YouTube just so I've given up on monetization. So
Hold on, what?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been. I put in the request like a year and a half ago or something. It's just not. It's not on the cards. YouTube don't want to monetize me. I'm not sitting here like Owen. I'm not a victim of it. Like I think they demonetized me for a good reason. I think it was I did a cartoon of for one of my Patreons of him and Louis C.K. beating on the face of Nanette of Hannah Gadsby, and then like. I made this cartoon of that, and then that got taken down for like a community guideline strike, and I think it's just been kind of like blacklisted as far as monetization goes. So I totally get it. I totally understand. Like, it's fine. Like,
so knowing that now, where can people support you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, don't worry, but I've got a job. I'm fine.
Nigga.
I mean, if you want to, there's Patreon, Porsalin, or if you want to PayPal, there's PayPal.me/Porsalin. But
cool.
Yeah.
Stop being so goddamn like. I know you're not a fucking I need the shekels kind of guy or anything, but people want to support and people want to help out. So
yeah, I've started to realize that. Like, I've started to realize actually it's more they doing it so that they want to be part of it, and that's cool. I love that. Like, so yeah, it's I've come to the realization that it's not necessarily a bad thing that people want to like throw shekels at you. Like, I'm just very, I'm very, like, again, when it comes to shekel grabbing, I'm always very kind of, I very rarely plug my Patreon or any of that
Well,
shit. So.
and exactly. It's just a matter that people want to support what they like and love, and if you look at this as what you're doing as entertainment for those people, if they want to help you out and throw you some money, cool. If they don't, cool. You're still gonna do it.
Yeah.
But it's okay. 2 hours of their life on your, or an hour and a half of their life would cost them $12 for a movie. They just got your doc for free, so they may want to throw you something. You feel?
Yeah.
So stop being so goddamn humble, Porsalin, for fucking sake.
I'm sorry. I'm like, it's a British thing. Like, it's just the way we.
I don't know. It's more like a Canadian thing. You're acting too Canadian, mate.
I'm acting very Canadian. No, I do anybody that does help. I massively. I don't know why anybody would ever do that. But like, it's really cool that you would. So I'm very, very appreciative. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and if you guys want, anyone got Braunheiser's link? Drop it in there. More than welcome. Go check it out. I'm gonna stick around after Porsalin jumps over to Braunheiser's stream, and if you want to drop it in where Porsalin's gonna be next, and you can go check him out over there. I don't know, man. I'm gonna be starting probably a daily show in between.
Oh, cool, man.
In between Daywave and ROTC.
Oh, so, nice. That's a good time.
Well, it'll probably be 11 o'clock my time to about 12:55, so people can bail out to the ROTC stuff. And then I'll probably do 2 shows a day. I'll do after Nightwave, like
after
I've
ROTC
always
as well.
Well,
after Nightwave.
After Nightwave, like I tend to do. So, yeah, someone please drop Braunheiser's link. Thank you.
Literally, like, it's weird. Like, all of my entertainment seems to, like, I've given up on terrestrial television, and like all my entertainment seems to stem from like these kinds of things now. It's really weird. Like,
yeah, same here, man. And I'll watch occasional. Like, Royce introduced me to that show, the Good Place, and that show
I know that show.
Fantastic and really funny.
Yeah, it's really good. Really funny, yeah.
I haven't caught on to a new TV show in months, and I've kind of fallen back on all my shows because I've been watching, the Nightwave guys and other streams and everything else,
Yeah, exactly. Not ROTC and Nightwave especially. Like, I got to I've not been able to do it since the Rogan thing because I've been working on that like exclusively. But yeah, I've been like, since I only discovered that like a couple of months ago. But it's really fucking funny. Really good shit they do. So
yeah, it's hard for me to catch Royce's morning show because it's 7 a.m. in Cali, and
oh yeah, of course.
I don't want to wake up that early.
Yeah, it's very actually because it happens at about 3 p.m. my time when he goes on, and it can get really fucking funny. Like, he does these tarot combat things where for an hour of the show at least he'll just jump over to all of these, like, these tarot card streamers, the like psychics online and stuff. He'll just go over there, and he's got like 100 to 200 people at his disposal that just go over to their streams and just bombard their chat with 444 or like Trump president now and all this kind of, and it just drives. And the idea is to get them like so triggered that they stop their stream, and it works every time. And then the minute he does it, Roy just plays the Rocky music and just puts his hands in the air.
Yeah, and he did that yesterday. I was at the airport, and he went into one that he's been into before. But the guy started broadcasting later, and literally I was going in with all my different accounts, and I was just like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And he would block everything. I was just like, "Hey, so how's your husband doing?" Trying to play into the role because someone was talking about their husband in there, and the guy's all there's 14 trolls in here. I know it because I have 16 people watching, and I only had 2 originally. It's like, nigga, be happy that someone's watching you. And this guy's monetized, so he's pulling from our YouTube premiums. He's making money off of us, but he's kicking everyone out from chatting. And it's just like, dude, I literally didn't say a single negative thing, and every single one of my accounts, even my like clip channel, which has like 3,000 subs, was getting blocked. It's like, dude, are you a faggot?
It's so fucking funny though. Like, the idea that he's just making these people's lives, like, he's just ruining them. And it's all his channels, and like, But at the same time, like, it's not fucking with people because these people are like, they're engaging in like psychic like nonsense where they're basically manipulating, especially the ones that like talk about like people, your dead relatives and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude, you're trying to monopoly, you're trying to like make money from people's grief and from people's like stupidity. Like, fuck you. So there's no bad side to it at all. Like, I think it's a virtuous thing that he's doing. He's driving all these like fucking stupid, crazy psychic people off the internet. It's great.
Yeah, and it's definitely interesting to see the kind of response he gets from those people, and
And it's just
when
troll
Nightwave,
practice as well.
yeah,
That's 100% what it is. It's just troll practice. You find out what people are sensitive to, and generally speaking, it applies mostly to most people, especially like when you get some of these psychics that are like might be leaning left, and then you just start spamming Trump shit. It's the fucking greatest thing.
yeah, and then the guy that was yesterday was a Trump supporter, but he was blocking everyone, and it's like, dude,
Oh, right.
like I literally was going, it was the Liberty for Tarot or something, and I was literally going in trying to like slow play it and get in there and see if I could stay in there for a while, and he would block every one of my accounts.
Oh god,
And it's like, damn, dude,
so retarded.
like you have been destroyed by Royce to the extent that if anything goes over your average number of viewers, you think they're trolls.
I love the idea that like if they all like all these psychics like they have to have like a meeting together and they're all just like trying to find out a way to like stop Royce. And like Royce is there like fucking it's just the funniest like because again it's this I love anyone that just fucks with the smallest platform possible where it's just like it's why you do there's like no point there's no benefit of doing this and it's just like it's like 200 people against one guy and he's like 3 fans. It's just it's so over the top. But I get
that guy who was pulling 2 viewers yesterday and everything, it has like 3.5 thousand subscribers, like 35. He has 3,500 subscribers, and the guy's pulling 2 viewers.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, we know you bought your account, bro.
Yeah, let's be real, dude.
Be real and be happy that there's people who are messing with you because your shit is fucking trash.
Plus, if you lean into it, there are times where Royce has done it, and then the people have like leaned into it and gone with the bit, and Royce is like, yeah, I like this guy now, and that's what happens with any of these raids. That's what like a way back. I was back when I'd show my face. I did a stream like of me doing animation stuff, like just like me doing that and like my face in the corner kind of thing. And I got raided, like, and I didn't really know what it was. I didn't know what was happening. I just got raided by these, like, I think they were like anime people that would just they kept saying Pikachu over and over again. So I was like, okay, I get what's happening. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play into, and I ended up animating like a Pikachu thing, like for them, and they all stuck around. I got like a bunch of subs from it and shit, and then the shit happened again, and then so it was like if you lean into it, like it can be good, it can be a positive thing, but these people are like fucking spurgs.
Well, yeah, and they just don't understand that the more you feed it, the more likely you are to get the result that we want and the result that people want, you know. And it's just like maybe don't get so serious, and maybe don't kick everyone from your chat when you might gain some followers, even if they're troll followers. At least they're followers. Yeah.
Okay. So you've suddenly got like 50 people in there that weren't there a minute ago. Like, then it's on you then to turn them around and to make them stick around a little bit. Like that's why you're streaming in the first place, so that people will watch you. Suddenly you've got people watching you. It's on you then at that point to like be interesting enough or funny enough or whatever to keep them going.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man, is he could flip people and he could have a good time with the audience and do these things, but instead he's just mass banning anyone. And I'm like, I even asked a question with one of my alts that was a woman's account. Like it was built as, hold on one second, Cabby just donated. See if he sent media. I have a feeling Cabby would send media.
$5.
Thank you, Cabby. If you didn't send anything, that's awesome. But you could play music, you know. But yeah, so I went in with a female named account, fake female picture, and I was just like, why does it seem like it's only girls in here? Like, Are you kicking all the guys for a specific reason? That was the one troll-like thing I said. And
Oh yeah,
insta block. It's like,
yeah,
nigga,
yeah. Of course.
how are you gonna grow? How are you gonna get people to interact with you? You're not.
Yeah, at that point, you don't have a channel at that point because you infiltrate and it's like inevitable that I guess they're hoping that they can just like wait it out, and if they keep blocking, it'll get to the point where they can like come out of their hole again. But I mean, that's not a way to do it. Like you gotta. It's like we've all been trolled or like fucked with and trolled a little bit to a degree, and it's pretty obvious the best way to deal with that kind of stuff. Like, and these people, they're not sending their best.
Well, exactly, and it's like I've been hit back in the day by like when the anime avatars were running around really heavy, and they like heavy. When I had I had Failure, Ralph, and Tonkon, and I got hit hard.
Oh God, yeah.
And I responded and I interacted, and that was a problem. I learned that if you're going to interact, don't show that they're affecting you. And it only took me one stream to figure that out. But this guy can't figure it out. Like, if you just would have went with us and just talked to us instead of just...
I mean, you're attracting all of the... Like, I'm very tentative about being around IBS people, like, at all. So I guess I've got that to look forward to. But yeah, I mean, how's your experience? Because obviously you've obviously done stuff with Warski, and I mean he's like a lightning rod for this kind of shit.
You know,
Ralph and stuff and Tonka in the day. Like, how have you found that?
I don't think I've had a bad go at it. I get some shit here and there, and people want to give me shit, and there's gonna be the fans of those people, and there's gonna be the people who aren't the fans of those. So if I'm being nice, the people who don't like them don't like it. If I'm being mean, the fans don't like it. But I've just found, like, if I'm just myself and I just am honest, I did the Miami after stream when me and Warski got into it, and was realistic about what was going on with, and it may not match what Andy said or others said, but I'm not gonna lie, and I have I have evidence to back me. Like, if they get mad, they get mad. But if they just listen to me, they'll see that I'm a reasonable guy. Because I'm probably out of all of that, like, that's the one thing that I can beat out a lot of people on is I'm not a spurg, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Which is
fine. It's just interesting because again, I'm like, again, just tentative about even going down this road at all. But I feel like I have to at this time. I feel like, you can't be a fag. You gotta go right towards it. And at the end of the day, like, I've got Sargon's liberalists and all the skeptics and all the... I mean, I guess a lot of the anime guys are probably like Kraut fans and shit, and obviously Kraut's going to appear in the Sargon doc as well. So, yeah, I'm definitely down to poke the bee's nest a little bit and see what happens.
I will say, if you're poking at Sargon, which sounds like some of it will be, definitely, the Sargon fans are going to be the ones that are going to come at you. And I'll tell you who you'll see right away is that Carlos Ugalde, whatever, that motherfucker... on my clipping channel, anything and everything related to the skeptics or Sargon or anything like that, he jumps in and he talks mad shit, and he's just ridiculous. You could have he comes in to all of my clips that are related to like Sargon or anyone in the skeptic community, and he's like flagged for false title, so he'll try and flag my shit. And other stuff, and it's just like, dude, how's the title false? It's Sargon versus Mr. Medicare. What's false about that, you fucking goof?
I've had a fight. I've had it obviously with the Bears after the Owen documentary. That was a massively eye-opening thing because it was like a lightweight boomer version of what I expect the skeptic community to be like. I understand completely that the skeptic community are way more autistic and that they're way more weaponized than the fucking stupid Owen Benjamin Bears, who are like basically all boomers.
I don't know, man, but the Owen fans are fucking cult level, whereas these guys are just spurgy,
shitposty kind of.
Yeah, and fanboys. Whereas
the Owen guys took it very personally.
Yes.
I think the Sargon skeptic guys will probably like just be like, let's fucking defend Sargon, but like shitpost with it and all that kind of. But like yeah, the Bears they took it incredibly personally, and there were definitely people in there that were, doxing and stuff, and like just like Mersh will tell you first and foremost just how annoying they became, but it got to the point where after the first wave or so, it got to the point where it was like, okay, it's pretty easy to manage them at that point, and they've kind of died down a whole bunch now, but yeah, I don't know, I kind of like that though. I like to poke. I want to poke the nest a little and just see
what comes out exactly. And I don't mind doing that. I actually enjoy like not like
plus like
I'm pretty
like
relaxed.
you said. If I'm like, sorry to interrupt there, but
No,
if I'm genuine and I'm saying truthful things, like I'm not gonna go on there and like say, oh, Sargon's a pedophile, and I'm not gonna say shit that's not objectively, if not true. I'm not gonna say shit that's not objectively like reasonable. So I'll definitely be putting forward like a collection of things that actually have some kind of backing and some kind of like real life footing and stuff. So hopefully, I know that doesn't matter to a lot of these skeptics and a lot of these liberalist kind of people. I know that like it's not about that, but yeah, I just hope that like maybe I'll take a leaf out of your book, and as long as I keep real and justify my arguments, then
yeah, and if you have you'll have all the evidence. I mean, it's Sargon. It's not hard to find to challenge him on things, and it's not it's not hard to poke at these other people. Are you popping pop paper?
Oh no, I do apologize. I have a
I don't care.
I have a bottle of cordial, and I was just kind of like poking at it.
No, I thought it was pop paper. I was like, damn, he's over there. He just got a new package or something.
Yeah, I'm just popping. Like that's what I do on streams now, just to annoy people. Just like
Porsalin's actually a 12-year-old kid with a man's voice and his pop paper, guys.
I mean, I would argue on the man's voice as well, to be honest.
It's probably more manly than mine.
I don't know about that. It's British as well, so it's extra gay.
Yeah, but you get the extra points for having an accent.
Well,
the American women love that, bro.
And also, like, I have like gained about 20 IQ points just on accent alone. People don't realize how stupid I am. Like, I'm really retarded, and so it's a great, like, having this weapon to American people.
So your actual IQ is like, let's say 120.
Like 80.
It's like 80. No, right. It's like 120, but because the accent, you get 147.
I took one of those like obviously fake IQ tests. I've taken two in my life. I've taken one that got me like 150, which is obviously a lie and a joke. And I think the one that's more serious, I got 124. So I think like maybe it's probably like 120-ish.
Yeah,
like, on a good day.
But that's well above average and well above retarded. So stop, nigga. You sell yourself short all the time. Stop, Porsalin. You're the king of self-deprecation. Everyone, do not compliment Porsalin, or else he may end up getting so sad that he kills himself because he cannot take a compliment. No,
that's not going to be why I kill myself. I've got plenty more better reasons to kill myself than that.
Jesus Christ! In Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Yeah, we don't want the UK's social services showing up and taking you away before you get out that Sargon documentary.
Anyway, I'm going to jump off now, but thanks again, AG.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. A pleasure. And then he'll be over on Bronheiser's channel, guys.
Awesome, man. Peace out.
Thanks, Porsalin.